aspect in as far as biology is concerned, and we're going to be discussing biological molecules, right? We've got different types of biological molecules. We've got water, we've got carbohydrates, we've got proteins, we've got lipids, we've got nucleic acids, etc. We are going to be discussing these biological molecules in the future videos, but today precisely in this video we're going to be discussing about water, right? Water is a mystery, all right? Water is a mystery, it's a mysterious substance. It exhibits some mysterious characteristics that make it significant as a biological molecule in as far as the sustenance of life is concerned. So this water has got some unusual properties that it has, and these unusual properties make it possible for life processes. We've got these two covalent bonds here. This is an oxygen atom. This is a covalent bond between an oxygen and hydrogen, and another covalent bond between oxygen and hydrogen as well. And according to the valency shell electron pair repulsion theory, we have a bond angle of 104.5 degrees. So here is where it's coming from. You have an oxygen-hydrogen bond. And oxygen is more electronegative as compared to hydrogen. So you are going to have a negative charge this side and a slight positive charge that side. So this is the whole polarity thing. So since water is a polar molecule, what it means is that if I have another adjacent water molecule, there's going to be formation of a hydrogen bond, right? As you can see from the diagrammatic illustrations I'm giving to you right now, you can actually see that water molecules. So this hydrogen bond being brought about by the polarity of the oxygen-hydrogen covalent bond, by the high electronegativity of oxygen, is the one that is responsible for some of the unusual characteristics of water that are important for life processes. So I'm going to mention these characteristics. I'm going to start with high specific heat capacity. Water has got a high specific heat capacity. So I'm going to define to you what specific heat capacity is. Specific heat capacity is the amount of heat energy required to raise 1 kilogram of water by 1 degree Celsius. So if water has a high specific heat capacity, what it means is that water requires a large amount of energy for it to change its temperature by 1 degree Celsius. And this large amount of energy that is bringing about high specific heat capacity is actually coming from the hydrogen bonding between water molecules. But there is a high amount of energy that is required to break these hydrogen bonds. So here's the next question now. Why is it important for water to have high specific heat capacity? Here's the thing. Biochemical reactions are mainly governed by enzymes. And the enzymes are specific to temperature, all right? They require an optimum temperature range. So taking the human being as an example, the human being has got approximately 36.9 to 37 degrees Celsius of temperature. And it maintains like that. There's a homeostatic mechanism that ensures that the temperature of the human being doesn't change. Why? Because if there was a temperature variation, it would affect the enzymes. A person is about 70% water. So water, due to its high specific heat capacity, there is less temperature variation, all right? And this less temperature variation will ensure that biochemical reactions occur smoothly because water doesn't change temperature too high. There's need for a high amount of energy for that to happen. So this is important as far as the homeostatic function is concerned. So water has got a high specific heat capacity. Secondly, water has a high latent heat of vaporization. Latent heat of vaporization is defined as the amount of heat energy required to change a liquid into a gas. So what it means precisely is that a huge amount of energy is required for water to change from a liquid to a gas. And this is also because of this hydrogen bonding here. You need a lot of energy to break these hydrogen bonds and liberate the water molecules so that they move very fast like what gaseous molecules do. Why is it important? High latent heat of vaporization is important because mainly this is for cooling of the body. Because remember, in terms of heat energy, sweat is going to be produced, right? And when sweat is produced, now let's say for instance this is the skin, right? And these are molecules of sweat on top of the skin surface. Once sweat is produced, it has to evaporate from the skin. So the heat energy required to evaporate the sweat from the skin is taken from the body. And since water has a high latent heat of vaporization, what it means is that the body is going to, a huge amount of energy is going to be taken from the body to evaporate the sweat. And by so doing, cooling is actually happening. So this is being brought about by this fundamental biochemical structure of water. So water has a high latent heat of vaporization. Right, number 3, cohesion and adhesion. This is one of the most important properties of water. So cohesion, we are talking about the ability of water molecules to stick together. And adhesion, we are talking about water molecules being able to stick to surfaces. This is mainly important in transportation. Remember, transport of water molecules happens through what is called a xylem vessel. And for water to ascend at greater heights in a plant without the water column breaking is because of cohesion of water molecules, the ability of them to stick together. And this cohesion is coming from this hydrogen bonding we are talking about. So water has got cohesion. Water also adheres to the surfaces of the xylem vessel. So collectively, the property for cohesion and adhesion facilitates for the ascension of water inside the xylem vessel. Have you ever asked yourself, it's just that water moves from a high point to a low point. But unozviziva here kuti mvura inosumuka mugamu 300 meters tall ichienda mudenga. Mvura yakambokwidza gomo, asi inokwidza mugamu 3 nexylem vessel ichienda mudenga. This is because of the cohesion, adhesion, capillarity, root pressure. Alright, it's another topic for another day. Alright. Then the next issue with regards to water, right? Another very unusual property, right? We are talking of high surface tension, okay? Okay, we can talk of high surface tension, tiripa cohesion and adhesion, alright? High surface tension makes it ideal for water to be a habitat of some organisms. Because when organisms, they are like dancing on top of water, right? It's because of the surface tension, the high surface tension the water has. Right. Next, ice floats on top of water. That's another property of mvura. It is very, very important. Do you know that water is the only substance on the planet that has a solid which floats on top of a liquid? Hakuna chimwe chinhu chiri panyika panapa chekuti solid inoflota pamusoro peliquid kunze kwemvura. Ice rinoenda pamusoro peliquid water. And it is only water that does that. Alright? And why is it important? It's important as an insulatory mechanism for organisms that stay below water. Because there are some very, very low temperatures that are experienced in some regions. For instance, the polar regions, where you told us would be yeke. So, the organism are past pemvra, papo, asatonorwa, ice raka insulator pamusoro, because ice no floater pamusoro pemvra, and mupanzwisisa. So, this is some of the most important things regarding water. So we thank God that water is on the planet. Without water, there would have been no life on the planet. Actually, water is a mystery. Even if you go in the Bible, Genesis chapter 1, verse 1, there's no mention in the Bible concerning why. Purpose in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth, right? And the Spirit of the Lord was hovering upon the water. So water is a very, 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 very important biological molecule, both on a scientific and a religious perspective. I hope you have been enlightened with this discussion that we are having here. And I wish to encourage you to continue studying and studying. Alright? Ramauchi stada, Ramauchi verenga. Don't just sit like a pumpkin under a mango tree without doing anything. Don't be like a daisy or like a zombie.